Hello, everyone. I'm JEAN-CLAUDE at Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this very special report with investigative reporter Maryam Henein. And of course, we're transmitting live from her YouTube channel here tonight as a really cool experiment here. So, welcome to everyone in the chat. Maryam, how are you today?
How are you? So, we're here, everyone. This is Maryam Henein, and I'm here with Jean-Claude of Beyond Mystic. We're going to be talking about cats, but we decided to do it on my live because, unfortunately, Jean-Claude woke up this morning and lost his whole entire YouTube channel, and I know how that feels. So I'm here for support and to start creating his backup channel. Okay, Jean-Claude, so take us through the purge.
Right. Well, it actually started last night, believe it or not. I tossed and turned all night. I couldn't sleep, but when I did sleep, I was arguing for my life in a courtroom.
Really?
I kid you not. So you know how you dream, you have these archetypes,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
here I am today arguing for my life in a court of public opinion, of course, and having to redo basically what was undone here. So yeah, I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, I've got like a gazillion messages on Patreon. Like, what's going on? I got it.
What time was this?
Around 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Okay.
From what I can tell, though, judging by some of the emails, because people were emailing me as well as soon as they saw this, it happened probably around 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's when the
Just like the votes.
pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we probably can't say that.
No, you can't talk about that. Oh God, no.
We'll get to that announcement.
This is the topic for this evening. Isn't he cute? Yeah. Oh,
well, you know what, Harry Vox, he has a little toy whenever he says a certain word, he squeezes it. So
right.
I don't know what will.
So I guess let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just basically got up, checked my messages, and I could see like something's going on. So I thought, stupid me, I thought maybe something really big was happening in the news that day. People wanted me to warn me about it. But then I started looking, I'm like, that first email I saw, I was like, hey, dude, what happened to BM? I'm like, who's BM? I'm like, I don't know what happened. I was like, BM? Wait, is he talking about me? So, of course, I opened my my browser to my YouTube channel, and I got that little monkey that says, page you're looking for doesn't exist. I'm like, oh, wait, no, let me refresh. That has to be a mistake, so refresh. Fuck, no. Well, maybe it's the browser. Let me change browsers. I changed browsers. Of course, I can't find the page. So I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then
it didn't hit at that point. You weren't like, oh my God, it's happened to me.
No, I was still kind of like, oh, maybe it's a glitch, but I'm half awake. I didn't have a coffee, and I hadn't slept. Seriously, had not slept all night. So here I am, and don't have my coffee yet, and I'm kind of like squinting in the screen. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? So one of the first emails, or I think maybe it was on Facebook, somebody sent me a screenshot of what they were seeing, and it says this YouTube channel has been deleted for multiple severe violations of community guidelines. Multiple severe violations. Me? I have one real strike, and we'll get into the details about that and why I say real strike. But I had a warning basically a couple of weeks ago, but no strikes since the beginning of my account. I never had any actual strikes. And in the warning that I had 2 weeks ago, it basically said, "Hey, this is a warning. One of your videos was deleted for hate speech." Basically going against the guideline for hate speech. And this was a video that had been posted, one of my very, very first, and it was on the events that started to be reported in March. And basically I just, I started my channel on that topic. So anyways, it had been there and it was perfectly fine.
Well, I just want to interject on, I love how the Ministry of Truth goes retrospect now. And it's like one video that was okay on my backup, on my main channel is not okay. And it's like, oh, by the way, that thing that you did like a year ago, we're going to get you on that. What the hell is that?
Right. And so I'll bring it up. Let me see if I can do... Yeah, I can do a share screen on this. I'm running this platform here. Okay, wait a second.
Yes, you're in charge.
Yeah, I'm in charge. Okay, so
do you see how many are there people? I'm just curious if there's any people who have subscribed to my channel, or you're bringing people, because I know that they don't get alerts even.
I recognize a lot of my people.
Yeah,
but
I
then
think
again,
your people.
But a lot of my people came to your new YouTube channel too, and we both posted this on our respective Twitters. So we're pulling from both sides. But you can see the chat now too, eh? If you click on the right top corner.
I can see it. I'm seeing the chat. I'm not on YouTube. I'm just seeing the comments.
Right. Okay.
Like.
So let me actually let's address that. Hi, Paulie P. Thank you for being here, man. And Paulie, thank you for your words of wisdom today. Thank you. First of all, let's start with there. I've had such an outpouring of messages and comments earlier today and throughout the evening, and you guys really touched my heart, because for a while there I was like, what the I was like halfway confused, halfway in a weird nebula. And I got to tell you too, there's more to this story. Yeah, there's more to the story. It's not just this that happened to me. I've had a series of really weird things happen in the last, let's say, 24, 48 hours that really begged me to think twice that there's more forces at play. Let's just I'm a spiritual guy, so that's my woo-woo. So we'll get into that. But first, I want to thank everyone, each and every one of you who sent me an email today. Every one of them buoyed me a little bit higher so that I could work the problem. And that's basically what I did today, is work step by step by step to try to resolve that. And I'll get into the detail of what I'm doing and what I've accomplished so far. So first, again, thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much to all the Patreons for standing by me. Thank you to all the new Patreons who just subscribed today, wishing to encourage me and to keep moving forward. Again, you guys just, you fucking rock. So really, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so going back to the timeline, and let me share the screen here. Let's go back to this one here. Share screen. Hold on, almost there. This one here. So that was essentially the message that I received on Facebook from one of my friends who was trying to
deceptive practices.
Right, spam,
who are you,
deceptive practices,
Jean-Claude?
Misleading content. Oh my god, and other things. Yes, they threw the book at me.
I have to say that this is the most. It's almost like a personal touch. It's like they've upped the ante. Like, you'd read this and you'd think, like, is this like a molester? Is this like a violent person?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And it's funny, too, because a lot of commenters on Twitter and Facebook were a little bit facetious, but they were all telling me, oh, yeah, JC, because your channel, you incite violence every day. You're full of hate.
It's the opposite, right?
Like, have you listened to my show? Anyways, yeah, so that was the first indication that, there's a problem. Houston, we have a problem here. Yeah. So Paulie P, again, thank you so much. Hi, Dwayne, Doyle, sorry. Doyle Wayne, thank you. Cosmic Dogs, man, thanks for being here. Sosi Patra, thank you for being here. Diversity City. Crypto Nana, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for retweeting my videos today, helping notify people of what's going on and where they can find me now. And again, Maryam and I will go through all of this here tonight, so bear with us. We'll kind of put this on the record to let everyone know what happened. Crypto Tarzan's in the house. Thanks, man, for being here. Okay, so the next slide. So this was the first slide. So I'm like, okay, seems to be something wrong here. And then it reminded me of this warning. So let's go back here, actually.
At this point, aren't you like, okay, I'm gone? Aren't you like, didn't
at this point, I'm like,
dread come over you?
Yeah, they deleted my account, but I don't know the severity of it yet. Like, is it the whole thing? Did they just remove all my videos?
Deceptive practices, misleading content, and other violations. Like
severe. Where is it? Multiple severe violations. Okay, so like I said in my intro video earlier today, that's simply not true, and I can show you. So basically, this was my first and only warning, and it dates from just a couple of weeks ago, and this is when they backtracked and suddenly decided that this March 20-something video was now classified as hate speech. You can see that here. Let me bring that up.
What was that video on? Was it another person's video that you were sharing?
No, it's me interviewing this gentleman here about this topic that I'm circling here, and also this here, which is economic updates. So, and a little bit further on, if I click that, I talked about the fog of war, and meaning that, you know, there's so much BS to go through, and that was the topic of this video. And I actually went through it again when I saw this clip. I'm like, there's nothing that even comes close to what they consider hate speech. I didn't meet that bar. Yes, that gentleman is quite outspoken sometimes, and, you know, but of course, not hate speech, not inciting violence. That's for sure.
It's so sorry. It's just, it's like Twitter and YouTube. It's like, these are platform-wise, they're amazing platforms, right? There's a reason why, like, okay, I'm on BitChute, but you can't do a premiere, you can't do comments. It's like we're wanting to love this platform, and they're the ones hating on us.
Oh yeah. Well, not just that.
Sorry.
They created this platform to the monopoly it is today on our blood, sweat, and tears. It's our content. We are the creators. And now that they're this big or this gigantic monopoly, they're promoting what looks like, through their algorithms, mainstream media sources only. And we'll get into that now with the news that we had today about the status of the last democratic process, if we can call it that without using some of the words here. Yeah, it's very fascinating to see how this is all being transpired. But what was important here, and why I wanted to bring this up, is basically, if we read up here, warning, your content was removed due to a violation of community guidelines, the hate speech. And then they say, because it's your first time, right? So not multiple severe violations, no, first time, your account is not affected. See? So I didn't actually have a strike. There's no strike, a red strike on my record. This was simply a warning, okay? And then they say, if, though, this happens again, your channel will get a community guideline strike. And you won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for a week.
Okay, so basically, I mean, this is a good thing because it shows that they have violated their own warnings.
Well, this will be part of my appeal to them. And I'm going through now. I've watched about 5 hours today of different guys who've had the same process go through them in tips and practices on how to mount the best possible appeal in, of course, YouTube's eyes here. So I'm doing my research, and everybody told me the same thing. Don't react. Don't start. No. Take your time. And of course, as you know, from my previous careers, I'm not a guy to react. I take my time and I work the problem. So I've been doing that.
How would you react anyway? What's a reaction?
Oh, I could have, like a lot of people, just hit that appeal button right away. You guys are wrong. Blah, blah, blah. No. Take your time, make your point, make your arguments, be strategic about it. And one of the arguments you've just made there is, they gave me a warning, and they said if there was another one, here was the next step. And they went way past that next step. They went past the second next step, which is to be in jail for 2 weeks or a month. And they went all the way through to deleting my account. Here, I was not given the choice or any warning, because I went into, so this is the next thing I did. I logged into the email account that I use for this YouTube channel, the one that's been deleted, to see if there was a notice from YouTube. Nope. The last notice I had from them was this November 23rd warning. So I'm like,
may I say something to that?
Yeah.
That when it happened to me, I didn't get an email right away, and Google is part of YouTube. And I use Gmail for my business, I admit. And suddenly, weeks later, I found that email. I'm just saying, I didn't initially find it. So anyway, whatever. In any case, okay, continue.
It could be. I mean, I did check the spam folder. Nothing there. Yeah. And the email service is working because I received other stuff from today. So presumably it's up to date. It's populated properly and distributed through all the servers. But I don't have anything else from them, at least not until if I get it later on. That'll be kind of suspicious that it appears 3 days after. And that will be another example for me to appeal, because I'm like, you guys didn't give me the opportunity to address if there was indeed a problem. So if, for example, the new algorithms that were put in place yesterday in terms of the a democratic process and where the mainstream media is going with that news is in effect, that should not be applied retroactively. And if they do want to apply it retroactively, they could at least give me a day or 2 or 24 hours to adjust and maybe remove videos that I think might be against this policy, which I would have done if they had given me that opportunity.
Okay, I want to ask something else. The changes that maybe you can read or we can talk about, because that's the first thing Zach shared with me, having worked for YouTube, and also there are people that were on the Punch Google lawsuit that had their YouTube channel purged without any heads up. So I'm just curious, is this the new changes today?
Yeah, so I'm giving credit here to X22 Report, who posted this on his Twitter, and I saw this morning when I woke up too. And I'm like, oh, seems to be related, or at least conveniently, it seems to be all happening at the same time.
Can I read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read it, and I'll explain why I think maybe I fell into this particular new algorithm.
I think so. That's what I assumed. Yesterday was the safe harbor deadline for the U.S. presidential election, and enough states have certified their election results to determine a president-elect. Interesting. Given that, we will start removing any pieces of content uploaded today or any time after, not before, that misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, in line with our approach towards historical U.S. presidential elections. For example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won, I like the way they don't say any names, won the election due to widespread software glitches or counting errors. We will begin enforcing this policy today, the 9th, right?
Yep.
And we will ramping up in the weeks to come. As always, news coverage and commentary on these issues can remain on our site if there's sufficient education, documentary, scientific, or artistic context. Who decides that? Millennials that have no sense of taste or art or science or whatever.
Yeah. And arguably,
or AI.
If you go back and look at my coverage of this particular subject, I stated many times fair use. I stated many times that we are trying to follow the evidence. I stated that we were giving Giuliani and Sidney Powell a platform to reach even more people with some of their claims and what they were doing in front of the judicial system that for some reason is not really being covered by mainstream media. And so that would fall, you would believe, under educating the public. So for educational purposes and for discussion or commentary, of course. But what I think they're trying to do here, but the way they phrased it is that only reputable sources would fall under these, correct, coverage and commentary.
Only our narrative is acceptable.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. So my first reaction is like, oh, okay. Maybe what happened. Well, first of all, it's a little bit funny because it says starting today and after today. Well, I didn't post any videos today as of this algorithm. So they must have backtracked like they did with that Jim Willie episode a little earlier. So, and I think what could have also happened is that seeing as I had 8-hour, 7-hour marathons from the week of the election, all through November, talking about this stuff, trying to find the truth. Basically, that's what I was trying to do. And so there's a lot of these videos for them to go and delete. And maybe the fact that they deleted so many videos tripped another algorithm that says, hey, if you delete more than so-and-so videos, it triggers me into deleting the account because now you have severe recurring violations.
Oh, wow. Right. Is that you've heard that before?
No, I'm guessing. And here's the problem too. Everybody I've listened to here in trying to mount an appeal, they're all saying you kind of have to guess as to what they did and why a certain algo acted a certain way. And if your dart hits the board, you might get a human to look at it and say, oh yeah, actually that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
Okay, let's bring it up. But they're not going to tell you what happened. And a lot of these guys who did 1, 2, and 3 appeals, they eventually get to, oh yeah, that's the video they were pissed off about or whatever had a problem with. And then at that case, basically what these guys were saying is that you kind of have to repent and say you'll never do it again and plead for your life and hope maybe they'll give you your channel back.
My feeling, my intuition is they're going to get the channel back. That's my feeling. Given you have a very good case, given that you are also, looking at it very logically, not emotionally. You've made a video. I mean, you're taking the steps. I wonder how many of the influencers that we know, like X22, he's back. I mean, I listen to him on the regular. So he's back on YouTube, at least one of his channels? How did that happen? How many do you know that have gotten their channels back?
I didn't know about X22. I haven't followed up. I know for a fact that Sean at SGT hasn't gotten his channel back. We were chatting back and forth this morning about, setting up private servers to store our videos. And I was also talking to Dick Allgaier about that because they did something similar with crypto viewing after getting their content banned off of Vimeo. For not following their guidelines. So this is pretty pervasive. So I don't know how many people have gotten it back. My gut feeling so far, I don't think Sarah Restall is back. Like that last slew, I don't think any of them, as far as I knew today, I didn't think anybody got it back. So
I mean, and I don't know if X22 just built up a backup channel. Like I also haven't seen Richie.
Right.
And from a long time. And I think that's also part of the issue is that, like, if you have YouTube Premiere, let's say I'm on my phone, right? Because I'm listening to information and reading all day long, every day.
Right.
So I put a YouTube channel. I'm not necessarily watching it, but I can click off of it and have it up and do searches. You can't do that with BitChute.
Right.
So, and then it's fragmented, and then it's like I haven't listened to Amazing Polly as much as I was when I had all my subscriptions, and then every more, I listen to people. So I'm curious to know if there's been anyone who's managed to get their channels. Like someone contacted me, and by the way, for your audience, I was ironically writing about Punch Google lawsuit that was headed by Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower, and interviewing like SG, like Sean and Amazing Polly, and then my channel was deleted, and it is very it's devastating. How many videos did they take, Jean-Claude?
Yeah, I'll get into that. Actually, let's do that now, and I'll get back into the narrative. Well, wait. I'll get into that later. Let me finish another possibility. So we talked about this new algorithm on the democratic process here. There was a video I did yesterday.
So not democratic.
Process. Yeah. Yes, very democratic, as you know, very well know. I had this video yesterday. Carrie's well known and she's outspoken. She's had her YouTube channel demonetized. She's now locked out of her main YouTube channel, in jail there, and she's now publishing her videos on her backup channel. So she's being censored quite heavily as well. So, and yesterday's interview was quite the blockbuster. We talked about the democratic process. We talked about Aunt Maxine.
We're supposed to say DP, the DP.
Right, the DP. Wait, that's a whole other show. Okay. You're the one who's supposed to tell me about these monkey balls somewhere later on. So we'll get into that.
I will. It's a good story.
I was surprised when I saw that you typed that earlier. Okay. So folks, I had this amazing interview with Carrie yesterday, and quite honestly, she hasn't said anything that she hadn't said on my show before, or that she hadn't said on her other shows before. But we are in different times today than we were the last time.
Yesterday.
Right. Exactly. At some point during the show, I did tell her, like, Carrie, you pretty much rang the bell on all the censorship algos here, because you touched every single point of them. That being said, it's a discussion. We did say to people, do your own research, look at mainstream media for your information. This is our opinion. That being said, for example, in the show, she said, those masks, can't even say it here. I'm so shy. Am I going to fucking
know, yeah. I mean, I'm also treading carefully. I don't want to lose my backup.
Right. So basically, she said those little thingies like this, they don't work, and it says so on the box, right?
It
and
sure does.
If you look at the manufacturer, it says this thingy doesn't work for that thingy. And so, but when we say that here on alternative media, I guess we're ostracized, or we're demonetized, or we're deleted for it. We're not allowed to say that, even though the manufacturer of the product says it correct clearly on this box. But we're the conspiracy theorists. So she did say things like that on my show. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's something.
Well, sometimes, sorry to just say, if you're an infected person, that by proxy, you sometimes then they punish the other person to make you less likely to hang out with that person, or have them on your show.
Well, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
I love you, and I would always have you on my show if I had a show. But since you're on my show, all of your shows, every single one of them was not monetized. It was always, even before we went live, classified as unsuitable for advertisers, even before we went live. Sometimes I would go and check before we went live. It's like, boom, it's already in the in that category. So that's like pre-crime stuff. So I'm like, okay. So that's maybe the guilt by association.
It's and because others would be like, yeah, she's too much trouble. She's a wild card. So they wouldn't,
But here's
so
the thing,
I'm just
though.
saying, maybe
If it is this video, and this is one video, then I go back to that original warning. This would be my official first strike, which would have meant that I couldn't have posted for 24 hours.
You're saying Carrie's video. Yeah.
Right. If it was, and I don't know that it is. I think it's more the election stuff. But again, they don't tell you. And they threw the book at me. They said it's everything under the sun.
But Tim Pool goes through headlines every day. He's going through headlines. I mean, he's very, every side gives him a hard time, but I think he's trying to be balanced. So I don't know how they, and maybe someone, if they have a high engagement, then they see that it's okay, we'll let this one go. We'll let this guy be the person who, because he makes us money and he has a huge crowd. He's been there for a long time. So we'll let him be the person that gets away, so we can say, yes, we have a democracy.
And you just mentioned something important about he makes us money. So back in August, where's this one?
Could make them money, right?
Look at my face here. Back in August, I put out this video, and I was explaining that all of a sudden, something had changed in the algos at YouTube, and 70 to 80% of my videos, and I go through and I scroll down live on my account to show people I'm not lying. 80% of my videos, or just about, had been suddenly reclassified as unsuitable for advertisers, even though since March of this year they were perfectly monetizable. And so I saw that as a first step to them eventually demonetizing me. And that's what Jason before had told me. They start by demonetizing your videos. They let you suffer and linger for a little while, and then they come back with another email and say, hey, we've reevaluated your account. You're not commercially viable to us anymore because you're not monetizable. Therefore, we're demonetizing you completely, or deleting your account. So I thought at that point, that's why I had made the move to start saying, okay, let me be a little bit more careful here. I'll put some content on YouTube for everyone, do my very best to meet those guidelines. And then for harder conversations, I would have them elsewhere. It seemed to have worked for a while, up until yesterday or this morning.
I was gonna say something. I totally lost my. So we could all be making them money if they wanted to, but the importance of preserving the narrative is so great. The stakes are so high. that they can't risk doing that. And just to tell people, yes, we're on my channel. Someone asked if you're just gonna pirate other people's channel, which I'm happy to pirate. I mean, I worked really damn hard to get 6,000 little measly I mean, it's not a lot of subscribers, and barely anybody ever got notices. So they do different things. Yeah, my feeling is that maybe it was Carrie. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's all subjective to whatever they decide they want to do. They obviously can do and say whatever, and they are above the law. And it seems that the more hearings we have, the worse it gets. So today, the FTC filed a lawsuit against Facebook for intellectual monopolization. Is it? I just think in your case, there's a faux pas on their part, unless the TOS, the terms of services have changed yet again overnight. Where what's the even point of having a strike? What's the point of having a strike if you're just going to put someone in jail? If you're going to get rid of
a point. This is what they did to Sean on Patreon. First, remember they demonetized the HDT report on YouTube. Completely demonetized, took away his lunch after years and years and years of abiding by the rules. Suddenly, apparently, he wasn't abiding by the rules. And what happened on his Patreon is when they changed the terms of service at Patreon to remove any and all content that was looking at the 17th letter of the alphabet. And John did have some of those videos. He was by far not one of the experts decoding this context. Some other people were way more out there. And so Patreon completely booted him off the platform. So now taking away his lunch at his membership level as well. So to me today, I guess the good news is Patreon can delete me for having the wrong content on there because I have no content on Patreon. YouTube took it all. So, oh God. So the library's not there. So I'm starting new, I guess, on Patreon, and this will be the second episode, actually. And to answer the question in the chat, yeah, we're streaming live from Maryam's here right now, and as soon as the show is over, I will download and then re-upload this episode to my new backup channel, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll show you.
So how many do you have on your backup channel?
How many what?
Subscribers.
I had 25 earlier today.
Okay, so we have to get you to 1,000.
Yeah.
To personalize it.
Well, let me bring this up here first, and I thought it was very poignant. In a time of universal deceit, of course, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. So going back to that Carrie Cassidy video, again, I doubt it's that one. Yes, it's explosive. She's explosive sometimes. But if it's that one, that would have given me my first strike. And so it does not amount to what that person just sent me, where I had severe repeated violations of the guidelines. So again, we're guessing here because they don't really tell you. So if you guys have a better idea of why that happened to me today, hey, bring it up in the chat, send it to me by email, and I'll look at it, because the more I put into this appeal and the more darts I throw the wall as to what potentially might have happened, the more chances I have of a human looking at it and maybe correcting it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because we went over, there was a headline, I don't know how many months ago now, regarding how many bots and YouTube blaming the bots. And so that it's and actually Zach was talking to me yesterday about GPT-3, which is an AI. When the AI gets its own mind, and we've already discussed this, or people that talk about technocrats and technocracy, this possibility. So it's like, let's just blame it on the bots. Is it a bot that deleted you? Is it because I think that made sense to me. Maybe something was triggered. How many videos did you delete? You deleted your own content? Or did I misunderstand?
I didn't have time to do any of that. No. What I'm saying is, as soon as they put in this algorithm that was deleting stuff on the election, that might have triggered a second algorithm that said, hey, we've deleted more than X number of videos, therefore this guy is a severe repeater or violator, let's yank his channel. And that could be automatic for all I know. This is what I'm, again, your guess is as good as mine. I'm assuming here that could be it. Because again, I didn't have a strike, not one. And so if the Carrie Cassidy was a strike, then that would be my first strike and I would have been in YouTube jail for 24 hours. Didn't get that. And if they want to go, and again, the thing about the election, if you read their notice, that was starting today and moving forward, not retroactively.
Right. Right.
So, and again, if they had said, hey, JC, you have a lot of this content, we don't like it. What would I have done? I would, of course, deleted it. I want to continue having my platform and my channel. I've done a lot of, done a lot of work here. So going to the videos, how many you've lost? This is probably the most low point of my day. Was realizing a lot of content that was lost. And you're going to say, why, JC didn't have a backup? I did have a backup. And this was on my old laptop. And this laptop died recently as I was trying to transfer that stuff over to this new computer. So I have part of my old backup. What I didn't have is a backup of a backup. Somebody was laughing to me today. I have a backup of a backup of your backup. I'm like, yeah, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, whatever. That's my fault. It's on me. So today, what I'm doing is frantically reaching out to people who I've had other interviews with to say, hey, if you have some of my content, please contact me through my Beyond Mystic website or anywhere you have on Twitter or on Facebook. Let me know. I'm trying to rebuild part of that library that for now has disappeared. And so that I was choking up a little bit this morning when I did that video because I'm like, man, there's a lot of good work there, and that's a pain. So
how many videos?
I think right now I probably have 50 or 60, and the possibility of, because I'm still downloading stuff now from StreamYard. StreamYard keeps only 15 days of videos, and those are extremely long, and they don't have a bandwidth. So this is part of the problem. When I lost the original backup, doing downloads here where I live in the country on top of using the bandwidth to do my live streams, it was very tedious and time consuming. And again, my fault. I should have prioritized that before anything else. And this happened.
I'm not asking how many you saved.
What's that?
I'm not asking how many you saved. I'm asking just how many did YouTube delete?
I have no idea. Well, they deleted.
Oh, you don't know.
I don't remember how many videos I had.
Okay.
It's in a couple of hundreds for sure. I don't think I have 1,000, but maybe some days I had 2 or 3 videos, and I had 2, 3, 4 days a week where I was producing content. So a lot of content, but I don't know. If I were to guess, 3, 4, 500 videos, maybe. That's what's gone right now.
And also, so you know that BitChute just automatically will link to your YouTube.
I did not know that.
So now you know from here on out that it will. But BitChute is very it's very time consuming. It's not as fast to upload a video, and I'm assuming they don't have a live feature. Does any other platform have a live feature other than Facebook? Who else, or Insta? I mean, like
Periscope with Twitter. There's a few on StreamYard.
Like Periscope will not link. Anytime I do a Periscope to link to Twitter, it won't. It wouldn't let. And I would be doing like I did one video on frog porn. I was just, there were frogs in a pool, and instead of fear porn, I did frog porn. And it's like, this is like National Geographic. Why is it not? Why aren't they allowing me to upload stuff?
It's crazy. So anyways, I answer you. And so going back to the audience here, I made an ask today in my video saying, hey, if you've had the experience of having your YouTube channel deleted and you've had experience successfully appealing it, please do contact me and let me know how you did that. I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to listen, and I'm taking my time here to write the most strategic appeal I can. And you can reach me at beyondmystic.net. There you can find a contact form and let me know those steps. And 2, of course, if you know where other people might have mirrored my content, please do contact me as well for that, and I will try to pull that content back into my efforts here into recreating my library.
And I looked for you and contacted Alt Censored, and he's like, "Well, this is where you look for the channel," but I couldn't find you.
Yeah, I don't think it was there. So,
and that's the thing, that they were like, okay, we're going to take away your channel, but this is your content. Here are your videos, or let me give you a week and you can download your content. But no, that's not the way it works.
Well, that's the thing. Dick Allgeier told me this in a video last week, because I was telling him how I had learned to curb my vocabulary here on YouTube in the last couple of months. And for example, we were talking about how prickly Aunt Maxine is and how she kind of gets under your skin. And we were laughing about that, but we were like, yeah, and JC, because I remember telling him, oh, when I started my channel, people tell me, oh, be careful, JC. I'm like, no, fuck you. It's my channel. I'm going to say what I want to say. And Dick looked at me and says, JC, it's not your channel. Do you own YouTube? I'm like, no, you're right. I don't own anything. In these terms of service, they're basically, it's their content. So I'm sure you can appeal that, but again, at this point, I just don't know where that process is going to be. I'm going to put my best foot forward and try to make a case to restore my old channel. In the meantime, maybe we can get to that now. I've started this backup channel, so let me bring that up on the screen for folks to see here. Oops, where's Maryam?
That ain't it.
So, of course, it's not personalized yet. Where am I at? It says 1 subscriber. No. Let me refresh that. 92. Hey, doing good.
Yay.
Okay. 90 good. I'm almost 1/10 of the way to getting 1,000 here. Okay. So let me put that in the chat room. And folks, please do. I find it funny. Here's a link to my new backup channel on YouTube. And I find it funny because I've been doing this for other people in the last couple of weeks and asking my folks to go to people's backup channel.
Right.
And here I am tonight, the irony.
Well, that's the irony. And also, hearing you when you start off, it's like, this is my channel. I'm going to do whatever I want. And being like just wanting to be free, right? And now we've come to a point where we're having to talk in code, where we're walking on eggshells, where we're censoring ourselves. And what the fuck are we going to talk about? Cats? What the fuck are we going to talk? Like, seriously, that we can't freely. This is so harmful. This is so un-American. And I really wonder if it's robots or if it's entitled young people who get off on censoring others and who really somehow think this is okay. Just like that woman, Cynthia Johnson, that it's okay to go say, make them pay.
And that's okay on Twitter? That's not inciting violence?
Well, she was on her Facebook Live.
Yeah, well, my point is, it was tweeted about, and Twitter's not removing that tweet, and that to me is incendiary, and it's inciting violence, and it's discriminatory, and there's so many words. But yet my channel is down, so I'm like, oh, okay. But a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, it was my daughter's birthday, the twins, and we went to a restaurant, and there was this little kid with the pimples in his face with his clipboard, wanting to know my name, my phone number, and basically my DNA so that I can enter the restaurant here. And I had that argument with him. And I'm like, well, is it possible that at YouTube there's those people too? Maybe, but part of me thinks that this is probably algo driven. And so even my choice of words, but here's the thing, when I do have guests on, it's hard to manage theirs. I can manage mine, but sometimes they slip. We're all human. We want to talk about our things. And this is hard. It's hard to fucking talk and not talk, like I'm always, me, Maryam, I say it like it is. So this is even more challenging for me, for you too. Like, we're such honest creatures and it is what it is. And Kryptonana says, so un-American. Yeah, absolutely. Where this goes from here, I don't know. For now, my first step was to try as best I could to get back up and running, which is what I have now. For some reason, they've let me set up a backup account, which I wasn't even sure, because sometimes when you do your verification with your phone, if you're already blacklisted, they won't verify. So for some reason, I was able to do that here today. Now, what I'm thinking is, okay, I've got something here. At least I can post. At least people know where I am. I can continue here to create my content, and more specifically, also to my amazing subscribers on Patreon. So this is a place where I can put that temporarily. Now, that's temporarily. I need to find a long-term solution, whether I move everything to BitChute or any other platform that already is in existence, or whether I create my own server where I control my own data. Of course, that has costs involved, bandwidth, and all that stuff. These are all the options now that I have to look at, study, and determine.
It's playing whack-a-mole. It's just like you become in a state of like 2017 was just me playing whack-a-mole. Put out another fire, put out another fire, put out another fire. Get up and like you just, and it's like the thing is now you're going to be fragmented. Your content is not all in one centralized place. In regards to sharing, to getting your private server, it would be nice if it was a whole group of us. And you're not on a bazillion different like Rumble, Library, BitChute. It's defeats the I guess that's what they want, a fragmented, or then they start shitting on Parler and like make poking fun. It's like, well, people had to go on Parler because you ixnayed us, you exiled us from Twitter. And then you're making fun of us. Someone had asked what techno-fascism is. If it's okay for me to define it, and then we can
go ahead. Actually, just before you do that, the comments on the screen here, I'll just read it. Cosmic Dog says, "Seriously, man, maybe you should think of mixing it with family stuff."
You were.
Actually, I do. I have sweet people talking about tarot card readings and helping people on my channel. It has nothing to do with fucking with the machine or the matrix. These are really nice, good-hearted light warriors, light workers to do that. But still, like Maryam said, it doesn't matter what you do. As soon as there's something they don't like, and the rules are so general, and if you generalize, and if you saw the latest, I don't know, month of Awakening with JP's videos where he's talking about and mocking some of these fact checkers, as you described, Maryam, as being like kids who have no context and who are power hungry, then yeah, that's what we have to live with right now.
One of my favorite 1984, that this is like from May 17th, but I have things from 2016, the one I started covering techno-fascism. Whatever happened, you vanished, and neither you nor your actions were ever heard from again.
Mm-hmm.
It's digital assassination, man.
Yeah. Well, if I can get some of this library back, like a lot of it is gone. And what hurts me the most, and I just realized what was gone too, is my 12-part series with Rihanna Watson. She is a survivor of rape. She lost a child. She dealt with depression, and she's basically rebuilt herself and healed herself with different yoga and tantric practices. These series were not allowed on YouTube. We had them on Patreon. And this work that we did, these 12 episodes, we had so many emails from other women who had gone through the exact same thing, who told us, I was about to check out until I saw your series. And if you can do it, I can do it. So we had, I'm getting chills just talking about that. But we helped so many people. But that right now is gone. I don't have copies of those right now. As far as I know, maybe I could still recover part of that old laptop, but
she doesn't have it. Yeah, I would. My thought was like, go find someone to save that laptop.
Yeah,
get your backup.
There are a few things that happened during the laptop as it was crashing and sometimes opening, sometimes crashing. I was trying to remove data from it to give it more swap space. And I was putting stuff on a USB drive and then deleting from the computer. And in one of those instances, nothing copied to the USB, and I deleted from the computer, and then it crashed. Like there's a lot of problems there. It's like I feel so bad. And again, this is all at the same time. that this is happening. And when that was happening, I was also rushing outside to get things done here with the chicken coop, with the electrical wire, the greenhouse before the winter. So I was preoccupied with that. Had that not been the case, I could have been here 24/7, do all the technical work, do all the downloads, the tedious stuff.
Yeah,
And
but it's like there's life, right? And you're in the boonies, and it's a slow.
I'm not
But
making
can we like?
excuses. I should have had a backup of a backup. I get it. Fuck, stupid me. That's my fault. But still, it's very frustrating. And that series, we had just finished basically her book. I have it here, and folks.
She doesn't have copies of that.
They were all. I was.
Let me see. Let me see it again.
Sorry. Brave, beautiful, and bearing it all. And no, all of those were run from my account on this live stream stuff and were posted on YouTube, on Patreon. Sorry. So right now, those are gone. And again, this is, and I started thinking about, what else am I missing? There's a lot of good stuff. I've had so many good people, like Penny Kelly, some of her old interviews and stuff. Like, man, I got a lot out of them, and people got a lot out of them, and helped a lot of people. And so that's gone. So that if I was getting emotional today, it was about that stuff.
Yeah, I feel you, JC. I feel you, and I feel I'm just kind of just taking it in and processing, and like just so sad. For empaths, it's like it's just so sad. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how many times a day, if I'm interviewing someone or someone's interviewing me, or I'm having a discussion with an awake person, not a sheep, and be like, I cannot, like, I interviewed Dr. Madej again yesterday, was it the day before? And I'm like, I'm like here, and I'm like, I can't even believe we're having these conversations. Mm-hmm. And that this is the reality. And I was saying, I hope boys and girls have learned a little bit about the Constitution, because it seems like Americans, even ones in jobs of government, don't know their job or don't know the Constitution.
Yeah, that was made pretty clear in some of these hearings in the last week.
But they're whittling at our amendments, and the right to a fair and just DP, democratic process, or the right to speak freely, the right to bear arms, so on and so forth. So,
so folks, let me bring up the YouTube again. Let's see the count. Oh, okay. Hey, it's gone up.
Yay!
There you go. I'm at 101. Woohoo! Thanks, guys. If you're still here in the chat and you haven't subscribed, please do.
Yes. Do. How many did you have? How many subs did you have?
I was just knocking on 12,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just.
Yeah. Well, you have access to you have email list. That's another thing that.
No.
I don't have either in my backup.
I never created like a subscription notice or anything like that on my main website, and of course YouTube doesn't give out people's emails either. So no, I don't have that. Moving forward, that's the strategy that I'm going.
How would you do it? I mean, I'm asking also, so I would like.
Well, I'm thinking of creating a newsletter. A free newsletter from Beyond Mystic, and the subscription will be free, and there'll be some perks attached to it. Somehow, maybe access to one tier of Patreon or something like that through that. Hopefully, people will ask and share their email just in case something like this happens again, and they'll want to be contacted by me. I want to frame it in such a way that I don't want to push out notifications through email every day. It's more of a kind of emergency backup type of thing with maybe some added value attached to it. I don't know how you're asking me this, and they're all in my head today too. Like, how do I do it?
Yeah. I mean, you're still processing what's happened.
Yeah.
I know I was devastated, and because especially losing the content. So when I learned it was saved, and maybe alt censored will come through. Maybe I didn't look for you properly.
Maybe there's still a chance. We can pray, and we can ask the audience to pray with us and send in
Yeah,
the
let's pray. Let's pray for all of us, if you don't
maybe
mind.
start by praying that the YouTube channel gets reinstated and there was in fact an algo error, and that I'm vindicated in some way, because again, I just showed you I had no strikes.
Well, if my intuition is I trust my intuition. I have a good feeling that you'll get your channel back with a proper letter. And I wonder also if any letter accompanied or on by a lawyer. And I know it's expensive to, but for me, when I got my Amazon account back and my books, which is what I cared about, that they basically told me, we will help you only if you don't involve a lawyer. So I had CC'd my attorney. I know that YouTube is not the same, and it took 2.5 months to even get someone's attention at Amazon, and I know it's different at YouTube.
Right. I don't know. In the meantime, like I said, I need to. Yeah, Stu Cox is hanging there, JC. Yeah, fuck. Somebody else emailed me today. He says, JC, YouTube was holding you back. Now you can grow. I'm like, okay, I like that.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet. And again, there's so many great emails and touching comments everywhere. Like, really, thank you guys again. Like, really appreciated. You made this day bearable, I guess, to say the least, and to see the outpouring to you on Patreon. That was the big thing too, because I think I told you in our last video, but actually, and we weren't live, or we were on the insider access portion. But I did say it to Carrie yesterday while we were live. If she asked me, we were talking about demonetization for something, and I said, "Hey, did you know I just checked my revenue on my YouTube channel? This was before it was deleted, and basically my last month's ad revenue was $198." I'm like, $198? That doesn't even cover my ISP service. So just so you know, that's what YouTube did. And I used to make almost 5 times that, actually more than 5 times that.
Wow.
More than that when I had half the viewers.
Wow.
It just started in August, when they just cut you at the knees. And so not only, and again, this was never about making money, but it's sure shit not about losing money. I still have to feed my kids like everybody else, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's all the time, like, anyways, and the equipment, the lighting, you guys, like, it's expensive to run this stuff. So basically YouTube had ate my lunch, is what I was saying. So, Joe was saying, well, you kind of lost it, but there was nothing there anymore. I'm like, yeah, but there's 11 or 12,000 people who I could talk to. Now I'm back down to 100. Hopefully we can bring that up. And so that's scary. But, and again, time will help me. I think universe is on my side. Eventually I'll get
absolutely the universe is on your side. And I do think there is, like, come build back better. Kidding. You come back rejuvenated, because we don't give up even though we get kicked. The fact that you're telling me you couldn't monetize any of our videos, I've never been able to monetize shit. And it's like, okay, if they told me, well, you will not be able to monetize any of your videos ever, but we will not impede your because if I had 6,000 subscribers, they didn't get notified when a video would come out. They were shadow banning me there. So yeah, let's pray to recover as many videos of yours as possible, or find you on alt censored. And the thing is, also moving forward, what are you going to talk about? Just Tantra and Tarot?
Good question. No, I'm very interested in the ET stuff still. I always seek information there, and I understand that this is a difficult topic. It's very hard to validate the information, and a lot of those whistleblowers lie by the very nature of their jobs. That is a topic that's interesting to me, but the thing is with that too is it connects to the politics and world governance and possibly if you want to call it religious terms, mark of the beast. So I don't know. That's a good question. Yes, tarot is easy. The healing part is easy. Maybe psychic stuff, prediction stuff with some of my guests. I have quite a few that, have a following on that level. That's pretty cool. I do want to continue educating people on the financial transition that is underway. I'm quite very well versed on those topics. And it is a fact of life. I mean, if you just looked at this week, last 2 weeks, Visa now has a new Visa card with rewards for Bitcoin. So never mind the air miles, they're giving Bitcoin rewards. Of course, you know that PayPal is accepting cryptocurrencies starting in January. You've heard all of these countries across the planet not say that they're studying, but saying that they're now introducing very soon their cryptocurrencies or their digital currencies. So all of this it's happening right now. And I know a lot about that stuff, and I like to share with people who are just coming to the fold there. And if any of my videos can help people maybe, transition their hard-earned assets from the old system to the new one as best they can, then I will have done my job. So I'll continue to do that. But there's pitfalls there too. When you talk about cryptos, Bitcoin Ben, for example, he got deleted and his channel was pretty much just all about that. So what am I going to talk about? I can talk about this guy.
Cats. Meow.
We can talk about this guy. Talk about Yoda.
Let's talk about inane things. Or
well, first,
like Matrix shit like sex and booze and I don't know.
Oh yeah, let's do some demonic, satanic ritual videos. Like the pop stars do. Those are fully monetized, no problem there. I mean, you can do a bloodbath and cut people up. Like pop star Rihanna's videos. That's perfectly fine. But when you talk about
Joey, about Joey, Joey's okay.
Well, and Joey's son apparently now just admitted today that tax evasion investigation or tax fraud investigation or something like that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently there was nothing there before the election with the laptop. Again, look at me going. I'm getting into trouble right away.
No, don't get my channel in trouble more than.
But here's the thing. I mean, what can we say? Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to have that dialogue with my Patreon supporters. I mean, that right now is my bread and butter, and I'm going to ask them what they want, and I'm going to match that as best I can and produce that content for them. And I'm going to slowly but surely readjust myself and readjust the language to make sure I don't trip any other censorship algos here on YouTube either. That's not to say I can't talk about topics, but probably gonna have to change the approach and the way I do that. And what was funny too, again, just last week, very prophetic, Dick Alligator was like, JC, every time I have these conversations with you, they're amazing. But he says, I know more and I can say less because of the situation, right? He says, we can't say anything. He says, unless we're behind a paywall, we can't say anything. And so, yeah, he was right. He was right. And me too. Like I found myself, and especially in the last month, wanting to reach out and, scream at the computer. There's so many things that are just like so in your face gaslighting. I was talking to Jenny.
So in your face. Like I just thinking of what you said. It's like that woman, like I think that I broke that story on Cynthia Johnson. I scraped it first before anyone, and it was just intuitive that I'm like, let me go to her page and see what she's talking about today, because I had already visited, and I'm like, Zach, should I scrape this? And of course, I'm shadow banned, so someone else gets the credit, which is fine. And I talk about this takes time. I sat there for an hour and I found a cut to establish the scene of who this woman is. And then I had to cut it down. But so it took time. And then I'm glad, not to wish harm on or bad of anyone, but she was stripped of her duties as a representative. But this woman straight up says, make them pay. She is bitching. We don't even know whether these are real calls, that who's dumb enough to call and say expletives and call her names and wish lynching. Okay, fine. But here she is saying, being threatened, and then you go and you threaten others. This is a representative. This is an adult.
Yeah.
Sorry. So here she can say that with abandon, no problemo, talking in code. She's talking comms, and you're professing love, and then are accused of spreading hate speech. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you say now. We could just say yeah. Yeah, let's talk about cats. I like Siamese cats. I am a cat. I come from the cat planet.
Are you really?
I think so. I really am. Like I asked a friend, "Have you ever had cat sex?" And she's like, "What?" And I mean, like, be with some, like, a male who's also identifies like as their power animal, and like likes licking and biting and purring. So I think like I'm a cat, and I used to have sexy time with Tony, with my cat, sexy Tony. But he just used to like sit on me when we used to go to bed, like be perched like a little hen on me. I'm kidding. It's like when I say I want to make out with my cat, I just want to cover him in kisses. I don't literally make out with my cat. But yes, I feel like I'm a cat. I'm definitely not. And so when dogs are around me, I got bit by a dog, and when I was 14, and I've had to heal my canine issues. But I'm just like, imagine a cat. A cat doesn't generally like a dog, so just don't take it personally. And I do like some dogs, but I don't want to smell a dog. I just like a cat wouldn't. Don't want to have their saliva on me. And yeah, I'm a cat.
I'm curious, did you remember any of this or have flashbacks of any of this when you were in Egypt?
Of cats?
Yeah, cat people or cat races.
No, I remember going into a store and buying a little, I forget the cat, Anub. I don't know if it's no.
Anubis is a dog.
Yeah, Anubis is a dog. But I'll tell you one thing, that I picked up a little statue in Egypt of an owl, and slowly afterwards my insomnia started, and it was a beautiful piece, and I think owl medicine, not everyone can carry it, and it's heavy medicine. And I remember a friend was visiting me from Montreal, and I had packed the owl, but we spent like 3 hours going through boxes because I was staying at a friend's house temporarily to get that owl totem out of my house.
Wow.
Because it was very heavy, and I think it was lending to the insomnia. So I don't know if you have a spirit animal.
I do. And I'm thinking we should probably do a whole show around it and get into why that is that I'm hesitating right now. Because
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and no, it's not because I don't want to have that conversation. It's just because in some of these conversations, I've learned over the last couple of months that you need to couch them properly, and you need to have the right audience for it. So, and seeing as I don't have an audience right now, but I do actually, and,
okay.
and
Yes,
I'm
you do.
confident people are gonna come back and find the channel here. And of course, I'm very grateful for you tonight to not just have this conversation with me. We're friends and making me feel better already, but also just to put this on your YouTube channel and help spread the word. I mean, what else can we do at this point but stick together?
That's so true.
We're a clan of deplorables, the unwashed masses. Remember that speech at the CFR where she said, we want a docile, obedient, and what was the other word? Something electorate. Basically meaning oblivious, but I forget what that other third word was. But anyways, that was... If you look at the way we're rewriting history and deleting everything right now, again, the gaslighting, this is how we started going back to gaslighting. I was telling this to Joe the other day. I'm like, dude, the gaslighting is out of this world. Even for a person like me, a person. I've been around news media all my life. I've been consuming this data all my life, and I understand how things are constructed to make it to the 6 o'clock news, right? Maryam also, as an investigative reporter, and even us, as much work as we put into this, we get up sometimes and we're like, "Fuck, are we crazy?" Like, I'm doubting myself. So I'm like, "No, I know what I know. I'm not crazy."
I've been thinking that with the electoral process of, but now, I mean, now and I don't know if I can say this, but now I've interviewed actual witnesses. Yesterday, I spoke to someone, a nonpartisan in Michigan, because I just released my fourth part on Michigan will come out, because it started. It's supposed to be 1,200 words, and and then it's like 6,000 words, because I'm so detail oriented. But after speaking, after speaking to witnesses, and also I do trust my gut. And I had a friend yesterday go on Twitter, and then he's like, "I'm not going to have this conversation on Twitter," but it's like, "But you started it on Twitter. You're the one who started it." And my friend has known me since I was 16, JC. Okay, and we came out to LA together. He's from Montreal, and I also have. I'm not close to him, but there's another friend that's close to him, and he's also woken up and sees the world, let's say, the way we see it. And so my friend Pete was saying, you're in a trance, hashtag where is Maryam? And when you wake up from your trance, call me. Basically, you love Orange Man. And I don't hate him. I don't, and it's like, he's like, I've been keeping track of the lawsuits, and none of them have any merit. And I'm like, are you? And by the way, I don't know if one of Powell's lawsuits, I think, was dismissed. But the gaslighting is real. But when you speak to witnesses, when you speak to people who were there, whether it was Michigan or, excuse me, Pennsylvania or wherever, I don't know how you can deny and that there's been chicanery.
And why? I mean, we're getting right into it.
Right.
I mean, I've been in politics.
We need to be careful.
Yeah, I've been in this a long time, and there's always been chicanery, as you said. Always.
Sure.
Dead people have been voting forever.
Sure.
That's not new. So I understand the people who are saying, "Oh, no, that just amounts to same old, same old." I don't believe it's same old, but and this is why I'm trying to follow some of the work being done by the mayor Giuliani and by Sidney Powell. And so far, if you look at the number 2 article here on Zero Hedge that I'm pointing to, this to me is the big news. That, and just so you know, Maryam, that is exactly or very similar to the strategy that constitutional lawyers had proposed and Dr. Jerome Corsi had talked about on his show with Robert David Steele, which, by the way, that platform was deleted right after that video.
I know. I went to look for it today.
Yeah. And so here we are having this
Steele's platform?
Robert David Steele, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. I don't know if he's back, but anyways, soon after that
video November 28th?
I tweeted it. We could probably find it on my Twitter.
His channel. It's on his channel, on Corsi's channel. Because I went to listen to it today, because again, I want, and I've been following constitutional lawyers because I want to understand from a constitutional point of view, because clearly many don't that are Americans.
Well, that's to me, when I watched Corsi, and people can say what they want about Corsi, and again, on my channel, I listen to everyone and follow no one, and it's not because I don't agree with some things they say, that they don't bring good arguments and nuggets of truth or of evidence that can bring you to building a bigger piece of the puzzle here. And when I watched his interview with RDS, my thoughts were exactly that. There's a lot of bullshit argumentation that we're hearing on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere about this, and that. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean shit until that's proven in a case of law, until you have a fact-finding trial and a determination of fact by a judge. It doesn't mean bullshit. Nothing's going to happen. And so when he came up to, no, let's just talk about the Constitution here, how this is going to work, how it could actually work.
Right.
And here, that's where we're at now. So this
why was that deleted? Because his whole channel was deleted.
Wow. Again, that's something. Will he be reinstated? I don't know. I didn't follow up, but is he going to be reinstated after that video deleted his whole account? I don't know. But there he was talking about one of this new algo that's been in place now. And it was very clear there. And here's the thing. Say what you want about some of my guests that, are extravagant or flamboyant or explosive. They tend to put things very clearly in perspective sometimes. And sometimes the shock value is what makes people understand, really suddenly understand and cut through all of the crap, right? And that could be also just like Corsi was doing. He was cutting through all the bullshit. No. He said, no, Robert, don't talk about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No. Yeah. If you were in my law school, you would fail. No, you don't understand the law. Right. He's like, here's the crux of it. Constitutional law, here's what's going to happen. And so if people knew that, and if that caught fire on mainstream media, they would have trouble pushing forward this narrative that just came out yesterday that we have a president-elect. Maybe. Otherwise, why would you cut down that opinion? Why would you delete it from the record? Clearly now it seems to be happening. And yesterday or 2 days ago, it was just Texas, little known Texas.
Now 17.
Yeah, 1/3 of the country.
17 states, folks.
There you go, Louisiana.
Hello.
Yeah.
Another quote: "The past was erased, the erasure was forgotten, the lie became the truth." One of my favorites.
Yeah.
May I just take a moment to read about to define techno-fascism?
Sure, let's do it. We didn't do it earlier.
Sorry, someone asked earlier.
Okay.
Maybe I have on your program, but so I was explaining a couple of years ago what had happened, and my employee friend said, "That's techno-fascism." And I'm like, oh my God, I love that. But then as I was writing it, I found out that Chet Bowers, who's deceased, who's a professor, now deceased author, lecturer, and environmental activist, described techno-fascism as an increased reliance upon computer-mediated learning at all levels of education to spur conformity of thinking. And then masking disinformation as models of factual accuracy and objective reporting. The prevalence of disinformation and fake news facilitates the ability to condition, quote, millions of Americans to accept ideologically driven propaganda, which further reduces the likelihood of mass resistance to the techno-fascist agenda, he wrote. And I'll share, this is an article I wrote last year, more than a year ago, on techno-fascism, which is around the time I met Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower.
Copy that. Let me bring that into the main chat for everybody to link.
So anyone who wants to learn, so I've popularized this term, which now I've heard other people use it.
Wow. I'm just surprised again, the gaslighting, but also Orwell's 1984. I mean, World War II, the book burnings. Like, I'm looking at all of this. I'm like we're right there. We're right back at that moment. It's fascinating. I had this weird feeling about a month and a half ago, and it's probably right after Sean got booted and some of my other friends on YouTube got booted. I'm like, it feels like we're walking in the minefield during World War II. And I'm like, look to the left, my buddy just, Stepped on the line, looked at my necks. I remember. I think I was saying that to you in the video.
So, yes.
And anyways, I brought some of my grandfather's medals from World War II to my office here to have his energy with me, because I'm like, man,
it's nice.
It's like we're right back here, and still people don't see it. I see people they're cheering on the parade, and I'm like, wow, they're cheering on, and at the restaurant, here's my phone number, here's my QR code, download all my contact list. That's fine. I just want to eat at your restaurant. That's fine. I'm like, why don't you just say you don't have a phone? What are you going to do? And then they're going to ask you your name. My name is Wayne Gretzky. My number is 555-5555. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, go on.
Fuck you. Yesterday, I was watching Gavin Newsom talk about an app that will be voluntary that they've been working on with Google and Apple. And it's an opt-in. So it's an opt-in. It's not contact tracing. But if I opt in and you opt in and we hang out together, I get a notice a couple days later, a red alert, that I've now been exposed to COVID-19, to the fucking flu. Okay, sorry. Oops. Maybe you said something wrong here. But I think of it like, I'm like, oh, it's an STD without the sex. What the fuck? Like, oh, you've been infected.
Remember those guys who were going in line and the lines were so long a couple months ago in some of these test facilities, and they had filled out the paperwork, but then, I have to go back to work, and and then so they never got the test. And then 2 days later, they get an email, oh, you're positive. It was like, yeah, but I actually didn't go through the test. I was in line. I signed up, but I never actually took the test. So many people were reporting that. I'm like, that's funny. This whole context too about and vaccine being forced upon us, and everybody's like, no, it's not going to be mandatory. Don't worry. I keep seeing them saying that, and then I see news articles to the contrary.
Right.
Look at this one up here. Canadian Health Minister exploring. We're just exploring. Just
explore this.
We're just exploring. This. So basically, it's not going to be mandatory. If you want to live in a hut somewhere in Alaska, not mandatory. But if you want to go shopping, take a plane, take a train, go to a restaurant, you're going to need your passport, and you're going to have to show.
I've seen this. I've been calling this since it's been 4 years. It's going to be 4 years. Zach was making fun of me last year because I was afraid of global medical martial law. Okay. All right. You can laugh.
It's in the news. And where'd this article go? I just saw New York State. Where did it go? I keep going if you have something. I'm looking on Zero Hedge. I just saw earlier today, basically New York State was proposing mandatory visits.
Mandatory visas. To V or not to V, that is the injection. I did a tweet.
Hey, that's good. I like that. That's very Shakespearean. I like that. It's good.
Yeah, I ripped a little, I was watching Jimmy Kimmel, and they do a whole commercial called Fauci on the Couchy. And it's pretty hilarious. It gave me a smile. I've been watching the nightly news, the mainstream enemy of the people, every single day to see what the narrative is. Every day we're shattering new records. Every day. Someone's like, have you looked at? I don't look at the numbers anymore. They mean nothing to me. And there's no mention even of Senate hearings. I'm curious to see if there'll be even mention of the fact that 17 states are suing the swing states. Texas.
Well, that's what Sarah was telling me earlier. No, JC. All the court cases have been dismissed. This is it. That's what the mainstream is saying. I'm like, wow, that's funny. Everybody's backing up, or a third of the country is backing up Texas here on this constitutional challenge. Yet I don't hear a peep. And here we have new algos today saying, no, that's not existing. I don't know about you. And I did, of course, I was a little bit busy today, so bear with me. But on this constitutional law challenge, typically, if you go to court, and let's say you and I are divorcing, and you say, hey, JC, I want half that house. you'll put a motion in before the court and say, hey, I want half this house. This is your motion. And the judge, if he receives your motion and decides to put it on the docket, which the Supreme Court in this case has done with the Texas motion here, the Supreme Court, right? In those cases, the judge will say, well, listen, Jean-Claude, Maryam's just put up a motion here and I'm willing to hear it. And until such time as I hear her motion and she prepares for her case, I'm going to now freeze your assets just in case. So you can't sell it, JC, just in case. If she's right, she owns half of that. So right now, Ms. Fritzi, you can't do anything. Your assets are frozen. So you would think at this point, whether it's the Electoral College or anything else, they can't do anything because this is now before the Supreme Court. And until such time as that is heard, they have supersedence or precedence over anything else that could happen at lower courts. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a knock. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Thank you. Okay. Oh, there's dinner for me.
There's dinner for you. Well, let's go. That's good. I think we can round this up for this episode tonight. Let me just
can you just finish? Sorry, because I was a little bit distracted.
Yeah.
About this is not what you just said is not the latches, right? Because if I can say one thing, these are facts. So hopefully YouTube will. There were, as I've stated before, and I've written articles. Thank you for commending me on this article. Yes, I'm a writer. That's what I do. There were many lawsuits, as I've mentioned, because of the Rona that was disrupting the electoral process, and there were shenanigans and lawsuits put into place before the democratic process. So one of the arguments is that when they filed some of the suits, they said you should have filed the suit before the election. You should have known. And it's something that's called latches. Have you heard this?
No.
But it's like, well, we didn't know until the incident happened. That's one thing that has been happening. So I spoke to one woman, Brenda Savage in Michigan, that is part of the V Integrity Fund, a nonprofit that's working with Amistad Project. So there's lots of different people. There's like the Great Lakes Michigan Center that's filed a suit. There's President Trump that's filed suits. There's plaintiffs that have filed suits with the help of the Amistad Project, which is Philip Klein. If you go on his Twitter, he's been sharing a lot of information about the safe harbor deadline and the reality of the Constitution and the real date that matters. And the fact that if there are states in dispute, the real date is January 20th. And again, this is the law. This is the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So this is not for, YouTube to dispute or some type of conspiracy theory. I'm a journalist. I've been speaking to people, actual human beings, and they just toss the fact that there's hundreds and hundreds of affidavits. And sure, it doesn't prove anything like the fact that it switched. But if you do chicaneries here and chicanery here and all, let's get these counties that are not very suspect and do some crapola, and then we all time at the same time in the middle of the night. Whatever. Sorry, I'm probably.
Well, no, but again, this is what's seems here that people are saying that we're spreading misleading information. No, actually,
who has said that?
No, exactly. Well, no, I mean, if you look at my strike today, it's misleading information, and yet I'm simply covering affidavits and motions that have been presented in a court of law by Rudy Giuliani. So why is that misleading?
And we're just giving our opinion, my opinion as far as I do think there's chicanery that's happened on a grand scale. Sorry, that's what my findings after spending hundreds of hours now looking and it's like, so if my friend is telling me there's no proof or they've lied, one of the attorneys from the Amistad Project said to me, just to get, and it's in my story that I probably can't share, it's on Activist Post, that by the way, let's put on the record that our cases have not been dismissed. despite the fact that the mainstream media is telling you otherwise. Or during the hearings, one of the officials said, well, you had 39 cases dismissed. No, they're not all from the president of the United States.
You know how disingenuous sometimes some people are, and I won't name names. They said, no. Those weren't suitcases full of votes. Nope. They weren't suitcases full of votes. I'm like, no, you're right. They were Pelican cases full of votes. But you see what they do. See, they're not suitcases. No,
they're not. I said they're giant ballot boxes. Okay. All right. They're not. I stopped using that word for that reason. Yeah, you got the call. Don't forget about the people that you told to leave so you can do your stuff in private. Now we're telling you that you can count, and it's all on the. Who cares? You don't have the challengers there.
We didn't do that.
It's just the law.
We didn't tell people to go away. That's debunked. I can see in the video you're shooing people away, and then you're coming back here to continue to vote. No, we didn't do that. So going back to this, I'll do my. Yeah. These are not the droids you're looking for. So that's the gaslighting. It's so like, fuck, you're on camera. I had this girl once who was renting one of my apartments, and she was strapped for cash or something, I don't know. And she was trying to jimmy open with a knife the cash box on a coin-operated laundry machine, right? And I mean, dude, you knew this when you rented my apartment. I told you, for everybody's security, there's a camera in all the common spaces, including here in the laundry room. So here you are on camera, and I'm watching you from my house. Like, fuck, bitch is trying to steal my fucking coin box. Anyway, so I text her, I'm like, hey, what's going on? I can fucking see you in the
world that we live in, and it's like, it's The Circle. Have you read that book by Dave Eggers that they made into a movie that's loosely based on Google? No. And it's like she gets a job and she is she's so happy. I one of the stories that I wrote called Dr. Google Will See You Now. I do a parallel between Zach of like joining this company. They treat you so well. You think, you think all these great things and you think you're doing good. And then you realize she inadvertently, through transparency of having cameras everywhere, she inadvertently kills her boyfriend and then realizes that she's an accomplice to you don't have any privacy. And that's the world that we're living in, that we are being watched. And it's either you're going to embrace it and go like, I'm a public figure, I have nothing to hide, I'm a bitch sometimes, I'm definitely not nice to customer service people that I think are robots. Right. I admit it. And that's like my big skeleton in the closet. But whatever. So it's like those, you're being watched if you're trying to steal shit.
No, but she had the gall to tell me, no, I wasn't. I'm like, bitch, you're on camera. No, she said no. She was like completely, balls to the wall. No, I'm not doing it. And so the cops come over and you're like, madame, whatever, you're on camera.
You're on camera.
We can see you. Maybe you should make nice with your landlord because he could press charges.
Did she make nice?
Oh, I'm worried that it'll come back. I don't think she watches this. Well, of course she doesn't watch this YouTube channel. It's just
no, she doesn't watch this YouTube.
Yeah, so that was just so odd. It was just, but again, it's just like, and she was looking me dead in the eye. No, it wasn't me. And I'm like, fuck, am I crazy? I'm watching her on camera.
No, was she young? She probably did
I don't know, 28, 29, something like that.
Yeah, she's young. Yeah, that reminds me. I've been renting my place and been, a digital nomad when I lived in LA, and I usually have good vibes and I pick good people and whatever, and I'm good at sussing out on the most part. So I was away. I was living in Greece, and which is 9 hours in the future, and I don't easily ask for help, but I offered a little bit of money to a friend of mine to just show my apartment, because the girl that was there basically had a cheaper place lined up and reneged on our contract and left my cat, Sexy Tony. So this guy, Kenneth O'Donnell, I don't know how he finds my place on Facebook, whatever. So I just said, please, my key is under the mat. I got my place cleaned. Can you show it to him? So they decide to meet late in the evening, and she leaves me a message, and she says, I don't get a good vibe. Okay, that's all you need to know. That's it. C'est fini. Let's move on, right? No. Next thing I know, they go and they get wasted together. And I guess I don't drink at all, any alcohol. So I'm a little bit, I have judgment towards booze. Anyway, so they either get sloshed together and, but she says she forgot where I left the key. Anyway, I'll get to my point. I tell him, tell me by tomorrow whether, and in the morning I'm like, what do you mean my key was underneath the mat? But I didn't realize I was messaging him too on Facebook. So I find out the guy squatted in my house and says, you're sorry I woke up late. I needed to tell you a few hours ago, but your couch was so comfy. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Anyway, she tells me, my friend, you're being negative because things were happening with my company. Don't be negative. Like, give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Well, this guy added porn to my added porn of whatever. He added cable to my house. So he lied. He was making meth in my house. I intuited that he was a meth addict and a drunk.
Right. Oh
anyway, and he stayed, and I ended up having to come early to kick him, to basically give him the security box. And then weeks later, I get a call, and they're like, this check bounced. And I'm like, does this check end in this number? That's my check. The guy stole my checks, and the police knew, and they did nothing. Anyway, so I've had a nightmare situation with a pathological liar too.
Well, thank you for sharing that. These are the states of this world, and the quality and character of some of the people walking around us. And man, gotta tell you, crazy, crazy times indeed. Somebody said earlier in the chat, crazy energies from space are making people even more crazy. Yeah, I believe that. Well,
so what's happening with Mars and Jupiter?
Oh, do I have that up here? Yeah.
Sorry for going off on.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to look to see if I have that graphic up here, because I did post about that a video the other day, and I could share it if I can.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. If you want to go to my, well, actually, let's do that. You have to go eat too. So first of all, folks, if you want to stay in touch with me right now, best way, Twitter. That's the most stable for now, at least. And I'm posting there when I'm going to do these next videos, wherever those are going to be residing. So please do, if you're not subscribed to my Twitter, go to twitter.com and /beyond_mystic. Let me bring that in the chat box here below. And seeing as we're also reposting this on Maryam's channel, let me bring her up. She was right here. So this is Maryam's Twitter channel. So if you're not already subscribed to Maryam's, so there you go. Her link is also in the chat below. And now, let's go back to my new backup YouTube channel. Let's rescroll. Ooh, 109. Thanks, guys. Wow. Really appreciate that. Let me bring that into the main chat here for those who maybe are just joining our interview. This is the link now to my new backup YouTube channel, where I'm going to continue posting. And by the way, all the links to this is in the description box below. And last but not least, guys, if you can help and support me, please do so at patreon.com/beyondmystic. I've added here a YouTube termination appeal fund for now, because people are asking, well, I'm not sure I want to subscribe to the main account yet for Insider Access Pass. Is there any other way I can support you? So I created this temporary I guess, fundraising campaign here on YouTube for you guys. And of course, every penny is greatly appreciated. Now, I don't know where things are going. And like Maryam said earlier, if lawyers do get involved here to try to reinstate stuff, there's a lot of costs associated to that. And of course, if you are up to it, please do subscribe to the Insider Access Pass. This is where I continue to do most of my explosive videos. And starting today, and with this video here too, I will be adding that there, and much more to come. And in fact, I have Gosha from Cosmic Agency. She was supposed to be on today, and she also had some issues with censorship on one of her channels. I believe it was a Spanish one. So we are rescheduling that. She'll be back in the next couple of days. And here we're talking about basically the Tagen and Pleiadian points of view on what's happening around the planet right now. She is a contactee, so that's very fascinating. She's been on my show before, so I'm really excited to have her back. Tomorrow night, I have this amazing young woman coming back on the show for the second time, and we are going to dive into the topic of divine feminine archetypes. And this is Paula Asteria, really, really cool, interesting person.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. I'll send you a link to that, and I'll send you some of the documentation that we used for the research for that show. It's fascinating, especially what we're seeing right now. Yeah, and finally on Monday, again on the Insider Access Pass here, I'm going to have Penny Kelly on. She's the author of The Robes, the book The Robes, and she's been doing quite a bit of I guess forecasting, psychic forecasting here for the next couple of months. And what she told me is that there is a break in the clouds coming. So that's why I entitled that episode like that. And of course, that would be good news for me today. I can't wait to have that.
I think we all need a break in the clouds. This has been a fucking doozy of a year.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks, stay tuned for that one. Of course, that will be on the Insider Access Pass on Monday for all of the Patreon members.
And if we've done almost 2 hours, and if people are members of follow you, please do subscribe to my channel. And if I can just take a moment to say, I have a question. Oh, who's this, Maryam?
Sorry, I'm going to pull it down.
Okay. I have a question for you. So I interviewed a Democrat of 30 years. I think that's on BitChute. And I also interviewed Dr. Jonda, who I was doing a piece on Michigan, but he's also from Ann Arbor. So should I delete those now on YouTube?
Fuck.
You know what I mean? Like go retrospectively?
Yeah. Who am I to give you advice? Clearly, I fucked up. At this point, like Queen Lisa was just texting me earlier today, and she also, like you, she was on our show talking about the democratic process, the DP. And I said, maybe you want to at the very least right now, put them unlisted. Just until we have more clarity as to what these algorithms are really going to target, because she did quite a few videos on this topic as well. So she was thinking maybe that's a good idea. Do you want to go delete them? Maybe delete them, keep them on your backup, and maybe put them back up once the coast is clear or the algorithms are kind of fine-tuned. Because this is what happens. Every time they put up algorithms, it kind of fucks up other algorithms that they didn't think about. There's always unintended consequences when you put up new programming, right? And when they're rushing to put this stuff in, they don't always see their repercussions. I'm an SEO guy, search engine optimization. And every time Google changes something, they're like, oh, fuck, we didn't realize that's going to fuck that thing over there. And then a month later, they put the patch in. So this could be what's happening on YouTube. I don't know. So... Fuck.
Okay, yeah, I'll look at that, and then I am going to be publishing a follow-up interview with Dr. Carrie Cassidy, who is very popular. She has a lot of people who have crushes on her. So should we wrap it up?
Yeah, so I have here up your Patreon. So let me bring that back onto the window for everyone in the main street.
I have stories that I've been writing in activist posts. They are very time consuming. I do not get paid for them. Why do I do it? Yeah, because I'm a journalist. I'm an actual journalist, and a real one. So...
And I want to bring up your YouTube here before we go as well, so people have a chance to go and subscribe to that one. So let me bring that back up on screen for everyone. And of course, that's our live. We're live now.
That's nice.
Beautiful. And let me bring. Okay, so you now have the live.
I mean,
link.
like, and this is not, I had a channel that I was spending money editing videos, taught myself how to edit a lot more videos. So they're on alt censored and they're on BitChute. They're on Bright. They're a little bit everywhere. And actually, you can see like the interview I did with Dr. Janda. Look at the camera. Looks so caca. I don't know. It was a new camera, but anyway. So yeah.
Oh, and your mic. I listened to that one on my other computer. Your mic. Yeah, it was like there was a weird noise.
Really? How's the mic here?
Today is very good. But remember our last interview too? You were having trouble.
There was Zach swapped the mic out for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Got me a better setup. Okay. Well, if the sound is shitty there, that looks very nice. The way you have it set up. Yeah. So this is my backup. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So please do, folks, go subscribe to Maryam's account as she is rebuilding her membership. And of course, if you can subscribe to mine too, and I'm laughing. I'm also in the position of rebuilding tonight. And, you know what they say? No, I won't say it. Anyways. I won't say it. I think we've done enough for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone in the live chat, for being here. Just the fact that you're here with us tonight and sharing and commenting and
thank you, everyone. Thank you. You really make a difference. I'd like to just say that in her 6-week lifespan, a honeybee will only produce 1/4 of a teaspoon of honey. So the next time you look at a jar of honey, you don't think you make a difference. Every little drop counts.
Wow.
We count.
On that note, folks, this has been a very special report with Maryam Henein, investigative reporter, and of course, myself, Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Maryam. Have a great evening, everyone.
God bless everyone. Blessings. Merci.